Hey guys, it's Tony with Backwoods Biker Magazine and Wood Tramp Outdoors. I'm out here in the beautiful Mackinac River Valley, and I thought I'd go ahead and do a video for you on a topic that you've been asking me about for years. What's the #1 survival skill that you should learn? Hang tight, be right back. Hey guys, welcome back for part 2 of this small series on what is the #1 survival skill you should learn. And of course, the first one we covered Les Stroud and Kevin Johnson. Les Stroud, of course, is Survivor Man, and he is a very recognizable celebrity in the survival community because of his series. He's not only, I got to say this about Les, he's not only great as a survival expert, but what he does with cinematography, his filming, his editing, I mean, he just understands it, and he's a phenomenal musician as well. Of course, Kevin Johnson, he runs Midwest Woodcrafters here, or Midwest Woodcraft. I always get that wrong. Right here in Central Illinois. He's a great teacher and instructor. If you're anywhere in the Central States, you might want to check him out. And he's got an annual meeting gathering every September. You might want to go ahead and check it out this year because he's got some great guests. So this takes us into part number 2. And part number 2, we're going to cover a couple guys that one of them I've met personally face to face. Spent some time with him. The other guy I spent considerable amount of time on the phone with. Both of these men have something in common other than the outdoor survival community. Both of them have been on the Alone series that many of you watch and you follow. And I really dig that series because of the simple fact that it is not staged at all. You know, there's some things, parameters that they have to work within, but as far as being staged, not at all. What you see is what you get. So the first guy that I want to talk to you about is Dan Wowack, who owns Coal Cracker Bushcraft. He's got a great school out there in the East, and his store, he makes a lot of his own stuff. I mean, he's a great guy, and he's got a monster YouTube channel. I mean, he's just really fun to watch, to be honest with you. I like to watch Dan because of his approach to representing and presenting everything that he knows. So I got him on the phone, you know, and we talked quite a bit about his Alone experience. And I finally got down to the get down and said, okay, what is the #1 survival skill that somebody should learn? And he thought about it for a minute. He says, I think building a shelter in a crisis situation and a survival situation is very critical. Okay. And again, these are opinions, but when you think about this, you know, if the weather's like it is right now, I mean, we got a cool period right now. It's in the low 80s. But last week and this following week that's coming up, we're going to be over 90 degrees. We're going to be in the upper 90s. So it's going to be a hot mofo out there. But let's say that you are in a critical situation and it's not 80 degrees out where you can actually sleep outside under the stars. What if it is 10 below zero and your vehicle goes off the road? And you know, the vehicle is such that you have to evacuate that vehicle. Well, you're going to have a shelter because you only have about 3 hours to be able to get your core temperature under control. And to make sure the elements, you don't get frostbite on the outside as well. So, you know, that is not a bad answer at all. And again, you know, what I told you in the first video, any skill set, when you say I've got a skill set, you're telling me that you have more than one way to do something. And hopefully you have a redundancy of 5 in every skill set. You know, I said before, and I'll say it again, with a fire, you ought to have 5 different avenues of creating a fire. When it comes to building shelters, you should have 5 different avenues to build your shelter. Whether it is a brush pile, if it's a lean-to, whatever it is, you should have 5 different ways to be able to build shelter in a critical life-saving situation. And if you've never looked at Dan Wowack's YouTube channel, he's a great guy to watch on this particular subject because he's got many videos out there on different shelters that he's built. He's very clear about it, very, very plain. He's easy to follow. You know, so that was his opinion. And then the next guy that I interviewed and I met during a gathering here in Central Illinois, he was runner-up, I believe, in season 2. I don't remember the seasons at all that these guys were on, but I do know that Larry Roberts almost won, and he didn't, you know, fold or anything like that. I mean, the guy was just under a lot of duress because of hunger, you know, and if you've ever watched Alone, I mean, that's the big thing right there is hunger, being able to procure your food. But, you know, I spent a weekend with him, and I got some personal time with him, got to talk with him, and I finally got around to asking him, okay, what do you think the #1 skill should be? And without hesitation, he said this, and I'd never heard this before, but he said problem solving. You know, it's usually some type of physical, mechanical type of skill, like making a fire, building a shelter, doing this, doing that. You know what I'm talking about. But Larry said problem solving. And he told me, he said, the way that I was able to stay out on the Alone series for as long as I did was because of being able to solve the problems that pose themselves to me. Now, I got to tell you that I was really impressed with his answer, and I can't argue with it. You know, I can't say, no, I'm not gonna use you. That was a great answer, and that's why you're hearing it right now. You've got an opportunity to be able to hone your skills, and especially your mental approach to problems that you are going to face in a survival situation. If you're just out day camping or night camping or weekend camping, that's not the type of problems that we're talking about. I'm talking about when you are in a true survival situation, life or death, you are going to encounter problems. You know, where you've heard before, you got to adapt, and you need to change your approach, and that'll lead you to being able to overcome. It's not that easy. You've got to be able to solve problems, and for that reason, I'm throwing that out there. Larry, kudos to you. I really appreciate that answer. So that's part 1 on fire, and part 2, we covered 2 different areas, shelters and problem solving. So we got 1 left, and appreciate you watching, appreciate that question. So until next time, you guys ride free, you live free, and as always, you be safe out there.